Hi readers, it's an exciting day. We get to start our next unit of study. Remember, the unit of study is going to be understanding characters. In this unit, we want to get to know the characters in our text really, really well. Perhaps like we actually knew them in real life. If you're reading a story and you feel like you know that character like it was someone in our classroom or maybe even in your family, that means that you are really getting lost in your text. That's what we want. Whenever you're reading, you want to get to know your characters and understand them. Okay? Today, you're going to receive a new rubric. These are all of the things we're going to focus on in this unit and that you will learn. I want to go over and just read through them right now. Okay? Remember at the beginning of our last unit, we read them over and we're like, wow, a lot of these are some pretty big words and we don't even understand this. And by the end of the unit, you did understand what all of those meant. That's what will happen in this unit. So if you look at the first one, it says, I can pay attention to and envision the way a character behaves. That's us today. We're going to be envisioning them. That means we're seeing them in our mind. Tomorrow, we are going to work on I can create theories about the characters using details and empathy. We're going to learn a lot about empathy in this unit. Then we're going to talk about I can connect to the characters using empathy, and notice when they act different from me. I can predict what and how details will happen. I can find patterns in the character's behavior to grow and revise theories. And then on the back, a couple more. I can expect a character to change and learn from experiences. I can recognize that characters face struggles that become turning points. I can explain how secondary characters teach the main character something, and I can learn alongside the characters. So lots of information on here. It may seem overwhelming, but by the end of the unit, you'll have it all mastered. Put these in your reading folder right now. Make sure you have your name on them. Put them in your reading folder where they're safe. I'm going to be giving you, or I'm not me, but your teacher is going to be passing out another really important paper. It looks like this. It says Sample Character Traits. Okay? This paper right here is very important. You will use it today and throughout the rest of the school year. So you need to make sure you have your name on it. Okay? You also need to make sure when we're done using it that it goes in your reading folder every single time we use it. Throughout the whole year, we're going to be pulling these out. What this is it says some sample character traits, okay? You might see lots of words on here. Some of the words you might be very familiar with. Some of the words may be new, okay? These are words that do a much better job describing, okay? For example, if I was talking about Mr. Watson, I might say, what are some good words to describe Mr. Watson? Let's do that. Pause the video here and let's come up with some good words to describe Mr. Watson. Your teacher will write them on the board. Okay, I bet somewhere on that list is the word nice, maybe kind, maybe happy, okay? Those are nice words, but they're not the best words that we could use to describe Mr. Watson, okay? Let's look through our list of words, and we're not going to read them all, but we're going to look through and we're going to see if there's some really good words that we could use to describe Mr. Watson. Able, that means does he know a lot about things? I would say Mr. Watson is able. Is he active? Does he always seem like he's on the move? For sure, I would use that word. Adventurous? I say he's always up for something new and to try a new adventure. Affectionate. Does he show people that he cares about them? Absolutely. How about afraid? I've never really seen Mr. Watson afraid, so I probably wouldn't use that word to describe him. Here's the word alert. Does he always seem like he knows what's going on? Yeah, I think that would be a good word to describe him. Ambitious. that means that's someone that really wants to go out and do their best and they work hard. I think that's a great word to describe Mr. Watson. Angry? I don't think so. Annoyed? No. Anxious means like he's nervous about things? I don't think so. Apologetic? That's where he apologizes if he does something wrong? Sure. Arrogant? Where he's kind of braggy? No. Okay? So you can go through. These are all really good words. They are more interesting words than happy, nice, and kind. Okay? Take a couple minutes and try to read these words over on your own. If there's one you aren't sure of, raise your hand and maybe your teacher can explain to you what it means. Okay? Or maybe help you read them out. You might even want to read them out as a whole group. Okay? These are really important. So pause the video now and take some time to look at these words. Okay, hopefully you found some great new words to use. I want you to use these words in your vocabulary from here on out throughout the rest of the school year, when we're writing as well as when we're reading. So when I say to tell me about a character, I don't want to hear, they're nice. I want to hear some really good words that really describe how they are. What I want you to do now is I want you to think of some of our characters from the book Because of Winn-Dixie, okay? The number one character that we could probably think of is Opal, and I'm just going to write her name right here. I'm going to go through the list, and I'm going to find some words that I think would really describe Opal. While I'm doing that, I want you to do that too, okay? So on your paper, you're not writing on your paper. You might jot down in your reader's notebook some words. But go through and find some words that you think definitely describe Opal. Okay, hopefully by now you have some words chosen on your paper. If you aren't sure about some words, it's okay. Try to use them and see what people's reactions are when you use them and see if they agree with you. So, when we choose a word that describes our character, we also want to be able to give an example that proves that. There's no right or wrong when you say a character has a certain trait. But I want you to be able to back it up with proof, kind of like we do in StoryWorks. When we say in the text, I'm going to tell you about a couple that I chose for Opal. You may or may agree. You may or may not agree with me. The first one I put over here was brave. I think Opal's brave because in the text at the very beginning, she stood up for Winn-Dixie. She could have walked away in that store when things were going awry with the manager. But she found it in herself to be brave and stand up for Winn-Dixie. I think that she's an easygoing person because in the text, she wants to go out, she wants to meet people, but she's very easygoing. She likes to fit in and be part of the crowd. I think she's friendly, and I think there's lots of places in the text that we can see that. Okay? I think she's loving, and she proves that with how passionate she is with Winn-Dixie, how she wants to take the time to learn about others, how she worries about her father. Over here, I said that she's thoughtful. Again, I think in the text you'll see that she's thoughtful when she takes in Winn-Dixie, when she brings him home, when she's taking the time to go and visit with Gloria Dump and with the librarian, okay? So there's lots of other things that I could say on here. Independent is another good one that I had for her. I thought, oh, she's definitely independent. And the very first chapter, she was going to the store all on her own to get groceries for her family. That's very independent. Okay? So whatever words you choose, I want you to be able to link it with something that happened in the text. So when Mrs. Bott or when your teacher comes around to confer with you today, they're going to say, what are some words that you are finding that describe your character? And tell them why. Give them proof from the text. So today, when you're doing your reading, you're looking at, just think of one character for today and use this paper to write down what, use the paper as a reference, and then in your reader's notebook, write down all the different words from here that you could use to describe your character in the book. Then be ready to give proof. In the text, the character did this. That's how I know that they are thoughtful or pleasant or polite. Okay? Then hopefully at the end of our reading time today, there will be time for everyone to share out one example of a word that they used to describe a character from their book. Okay? Good luck. Have fun with this. This is my favorite, one of my favorite activities.